Hello, this is the fourth video of my moving to Ukraine and kind of letting you know what's happening, kind of a twofold. So I'll have two pieces of information for you today. First of all, let's talk very quickly about the another piece of information that we have from the talks that happened on Friday. Just like I had a video about all the information that came out before the talk saying this is going to happen and that was going to happen. We also have information now that says this happened and that happened. First of all, I'm reading a lot of stuff that says, oh, the talks were a failure. These didn't happen. There was no peace agreement. There was no ceasefire. First of all, this meeting was not for that, okay? This was just a meeting to set up the framework to negotiate a deal. Anytime you negotiate a deal, here's how it works. One side makes an offer. The other says, nope, can't do that. They make a counter offer. The other side says, nope, we make a counter offer. And it goes back and forth, sometimes for days. It can go back and forth. This side has to go back and talk about it, and then they bring back an offer. This side says, nope, we have to go back and talk about it, and they bring back an offer. That's the way it works. Okay? So for media to say, oh, this was a failure, that just is clickbait. That makes you click on it. Oh, no, we're not going to get a ceasefire. No, this was not the original intent of this meeting. Okay? Now, what happened is now Trump has invited Zelensky and other European leaders to the White House on Monday, supposedly. We'll see if that happens. So they're supposed to be at the White House on Monday, August the 18th, I believe it is. And they are going to hammer out some deals from what they found out at the meeting on Friday. So then they'll say, here's what we were offered, here's what we think, what do you think? They'll say yes or no, they'll hammer that out, they'll take that back, offer that to the Kremlin will say yes or no, and then they'll come back with offers. And so at least we have a framework of negotiation. This is the way it always works. So don't get too upset when you see articles and newspapers and TV that says, oh, it was a failure, there is no ceasefire. However, here's what we know. We know that they're working on it. We are as close as ever to getting a ceasefire. A peace agreement. We think we know, if there is no propaganda, we think we know both sides said we're going to skip the ceasefire and go straight to a peace agreement. So let's not worry about a ceasefire. Let's go straight to a peace agreement. Um, Ukraine and the European leaders are saying we need securities from the United States to make sure this doesn't happen again. And I think there's like an Article 5 of NATO ish type things that even Russia may have agreed to, that both sides have to agree to, which was kind of surprising that all the newspapers are kind of saying the same thing. So we'll see what happens there. So there will be securities that this won't happen again. I think they're going to skip the ceasefire and go straight to peace talks. Okay. Now, one of the horrible things that happened that showed us where the mind of Putin is right after the talks in Alaska with Trump and Putin. What does Putin do? He goes and he sends swarms of drones, missiles, shashid, all kinds of things, and he starts to attack Ukraine again, which shows he is in this for nothing but to steal, kill, and destroy. And for those of you who know the Bible, that is the whole message of Satan, is to kill, steal, and destroy. This is a satanic mindset. Putin does not care that he kills, steals, and destroys civilians, men, boys, ladies, children, boys and girls, schools, hospitals. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. He's just shooting civilians and he's destroying people. This is his mindset. So this is why we need a peace agreement signed, sealed, delivered as quick as we can. But the good thing is this Alaska summit set the framework for talking. Okay? That's what this Alaska summit did. So don't get discouraged when you read something or you hear something, oh, this was a failure. This never was agreed to set up a peace talks at the beginning. This was just the framework for negotiation. Negotiations always say yes, nah, no. How about this? No, how about this? Kinda. And then we'll finally filter down until we can get a peace agreement. That's the way it always works. Trump wrote the book on the art of the deal. I believe he will get a peace agreement that will come together eventually. We hope it's very soon. Okay? So, we'll see what happens tomorrow, August the 18th. We will see that. Also, I hope this video is a little clearer. Some of you said maybe it was a little hard to hear. Some of you didn't have any trouble. So I made sure that the audio was a little better, I hope. So we'll see that. Uh, Second piece of information I want to share with you very quickly from my sponsoring school in Ukraine. I got a message just today, Sunday morning, that said all the documents were properly uh, presented, signed, and they are where they need to be. They were given to the visa office and now they are in process. So they are there. So all the documents that needed to be delivered, signed, everything's in process. Everything from the school, everything that they needed from the sponsoring school is there. My sponsoring school has worked very diligently, very hard. They've been wonderful. I'm not going to mention their name yet, but good job. Thank you so much for doing that. And so it's going to be about 3 weeks probably before that's all done. And it looks like my date to ship out to go to Ukraine through Moldova into Ukraine will be maybe the end of September. Yes, August, September, yes, middle end of September. So somewhere in there. So it looks like I'll probably be flying out then, and I'll be flying maybe in October, getting an apartment, getting settled into my new job, trying to figure everything out in the last part of September, first part of October. So, for those of you who are listening to this who have English lessons on my other platform, I'll be talking to you separately, letting you know kind of maybe what our plans are. Okay? So, just giving you about a 7-8 minute little video here, kind of catching you up. And after tomorrow's meeting in the White House, I'll give you another short video. We'll see where it goes. And we will catch you up later. Goodbye. Thank you for joining. Talk to you later. Bye bye.